Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we are continuing with our weekly series of Shirim in the Zohar HaKadosh, in revealing the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu within the Torah of Rabbi Shimon. And we're still in the week, we're still in the time of Rabbi Shimon, we're still in the light of Lag BaOmer, we're still in the Makifin of the Or of Rashbi. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to dive down into three different places in the short Zohar HaKadosh and Parshas Bechukotai, but it's a miyat hamachzekes amaruba. It's a profoundly potent shape of the Zohar Kadosh, even though it's a shorter parsha. Nevertheless, the Zohar Kadosh and the light of Rabbi Shimon are going to reveal themselves to us clearly through this week's parsha. So the first place that we're going to be looking at is going to be in connection with what we discussed in the Shir on Mashiach Tzidkenu, which is the notion of the Shmo Shel Mashiach, the name of Mashiach, identifying the name of Mashiach, meaning to say that each and every person has to come and create within their own minds the perception of what redemption is going to be, so that through our creation of what redemption is going to be, we awaken that element of redemption above, thereby allowing it to be revealed. And the same is going to be true, like we said, with regards to the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Zohar HaKadosh is filled. One of the clearest places that this is expressed is in the Kigavna element of the Zohar HaKadosh, but it's expressed in many, many places in the Hakdama to the Zohar HaKadosh, Leshem Shvo V'Chaloma, Rav Tzadok HaKohen Lublin, the Zidchaver Tzadikim, the Ramchal, they all identify this as the center point of what it means to engage with Pnimiyas HaTorah. It's the secret of Avodah L'Tzarach Gavoa, that it's specifically through the work that we do down here and the orientation that we have and the turning towards Hashem and the desire that we have to crown Hashem as king and to allow Hashem to reveal himself and his unity in this world and to see Shalom and to see Einon Movado. It's going to be in accordance with the desire in our hearts, burning desire and shuka to bring that out, that it's actually going to awaken that quality within HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kavyachol. We see this going all the way back already to the Chovos HaLevavos and the dual relationship between human effort and HaKadosh Baruch Hu's response Kavyachol. This is the second shar, the first shar in Nefesh HaChaim, where Rav Chaim Volozhiner explains clearly, as clear as can be, the relationship between our action below and the awakening that takes place from above, where it appears as if it is specifically and only through our awakening below that there's any notion of something above, that it would not for the Jewish people crowning HaKadosh Baruch Hu God, then Kavyachol, as Chazal say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would not be considered as God in relationship to the human being, that it's in accordance to the way we grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to reveal himself. And that's the secret of Avodah L'Tzarach Gavoa, that it's specifically the work down here that awakens the light above, in spite of the fact that it's the light above that's giving us the power to awaken the lights down here. And it's the secret of the yichud between Yediyah and Bechira that we've been speaking so much about. Now, this secret of Avodah L'Tzarach Gavoa is the notion that it is in accordance with human consciousness and human grasp, in which the notion of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinitude is going to come into shape for us. Avada, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence is infinite in all matters of infinitude. Eino en milvado leis aser panimine kula kaimo kilo chashiv v'loi chashiv. There's nothing other than the infinite light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Within the infinite light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, through all of the impossible tzimtzumim and the potential down all the way to the abstract point of Metzias, She'ena Metzias, we come to find how HaKadosh Baruch Hu allows for limitation to emerge. And it's specifically in our grasping, in our position of limitation, that we have the ability of recognizing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, obviously, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is present even without limitation, but it's specifically limitation that is the capacity, or Hashem has decided to allow limitation itself to have the capacity to recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinite presence more and more. Meaning to say, without that limited space of tzimtzum, without that concealed space of not knowing, etc., there would be no capacity to draw down the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu into our minds. Obviously, HaKadosh Baruch Hu exists in all matters of existence, in the way that he exists, devoid of any human effort. That's mitzido from HaKadosh Baruch Hu's perspective, which we're never actually talking about. All we're talking about is mitzidenu, from our perspective. And from our perspective, it is specifically our actions down here and the pockets that we open up in reality so that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could shine forth his light. And it's specifically through our actions and our preparation and our desire that we engage in Hakadosh Baruch Hu becoming the king and the father and the expression in all of the different ways that he is in accordance with our graspability. And we see this in the Zohar Kadosh very often, that it's specifically through the words of Torah that the Chavraya are speaking, we awaken those very same elements of his iris to come from below, from above to below. Generally, we think that the light comes from above to below, and then the light goes from below to above. But what the Zohar Kadosh is showing is that yes, Avada, all light comes from above, everything comes from above. But once we put that on the side, then there's another way of looking where it's that light comes from below to above, and then from above to below, that it's specifically through the recognition of our absolute need and our dependency on HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light is going to unfold. And that's the secret of us giving names to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like Adam Arishon, just like each and every one of us are giving names to Mashiach Tzidkenu, so too we give names to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu's names and calling him out by that particular midah, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol is going to reveal more of his ungraspable essence through all of those midos, so that we sense that it's through our actions that we're drawing out the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this is where the Zohar Kadosh starts on Daf Kaf Yud Gimel and Bechukotai Kegav Nada. This is exactly what we were talking about. Amar Rabbi Shimon said, V'ya'as David Shem, and David HaMelech made a shame. David HaMelech, the secret of Mashiach, the Shmo Shel Mashiach, he made a name. Lichu chazu mifalei Hashem asher sham shamos baritz. Don't read desolation, ela shemos. That the tzaddikim see desolation. Malchus is in desolation, and it creates a name. It finds a name there. It makes a name for Hakadosh Baruch Hu out of Malchus. V'yas David Shem, and David makes a name. V'chi David Avilei. Is it David who made the name of Hakadosh Baruch Hu? Is it David who made that name? Ela begin to azil be'archei da'iraisa, but rather because David Malka Mashiach walked along the paths of the Torah, the Avid Pikudei Araisa, and he followed with the commandments of the Torah. He attuned himself to the behavioral tendencies of the Torah. V'anig Malchus Kedekayos, and he ran his Malchus. He directed his presence in this world in the right way, Kavyachol, as if to say, because it's all Kavyachol in the end of the day. Kavyachol Asa Shem. It's as if he made the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's as if David HaMelech's actions down here created the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name above. Sham la'ela. It's as if he made the name above. Below have a malka ba'alma d'zachulahai, and there was no king in the world like David HaMelech who came to this recognition of crowning HaKadosh Baruch Hu through his own actions. Kedavid, David come to plagus laila. David HaMelech would wake up in the depths of sleep at the midnight point. And you would praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ad desalik shama kadisha b'kursaya b'shaisa desalik nhura d'yamama. As if the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that was illuminating from the Kisei HaKavod, from the words of David HaMelech, was the same expression of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light that was emergent at the day point. Kavyachol hu avid shem. It's as if David HaMelech made that shame. This is the secret of hu ye'oyer hashachar. To be like David HaMelech means to create the name even before the emergence of the name. The be'ita achishena, to awaken the movement from below to above, so as to draw down that which always exists above down below. So it's as if David HaMelech actually made the name, like we're all doing by the Shmo Shel Mashiach. Kida Amart, like the pasuk says, V'yikov ben Isha Yisraelis es Hashem v'yikalel, when it talks about the Kilul Hashem, the cursing of the name, God forbid, the pegam that the Isha Yisraelis fell into, the capacity to defile the name, so to speak. And if there's the capacity to defile the name, so to speak, meaning to say that our actions or our limitations have the ability of closing off the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our own world, which is a norm more of its symptom. So if there's the tendency to conceal it, begin kach v'yas David Shem. So too, David HaMelech understood the secret of coming to make the name even more. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam V'ed. Our job is to be Magdil Shemo Shel Mashiach, Yeshuos Malko. And this is what it means when HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, it's as if you've created me. And if the human being spends time properly trying to refine and create the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu through our actions down here below in the right way, through that process, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to reveal all of the blessings through the creation of the name itself, finding the Shmo Shel Mashiach, which is Rosh Tevos Shemesh, which is the light of the Shemesh that descends down onto the Levana. Then the Zohar Kadosh continues and has such beautiful, beautiful elements. In this Zohar Kadosh, Rabbi Shimon has a lashon of Bacha, Rabbi Shimon cries out, Va'amar vayloin lebnei nasha, delo yadin v'lim mashgichin b'yikra demarayhun. Woe to those individuals who do not see the grandeur and the beauty of their Creator. Just beautiful, beautiful Zohars about the need to give over from a place of fullness to a place of destitution. That's the Ikr Nukuda of Avodas Hashem, to look at that which appears to be empty, the Malchusa Kadisha, and to give tzedakah to it, to take tzedek, which is the harsh din of this reality of the world in its externalization of Olam Kimen Hogonoheg, which appears difficult, which is what causes us to need to make tziduk hadin. And the secret of tzedakah is to draw down the light of the tzaddik into that place, to be mechaber tzedek and tzedakah, to be mechaber tzedek and mishpat, to be megala how the impoverishment itself is the main thing, and it's our job to create vessels and to find fulfillment from within those vessels themselves to reveal HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light. And this is all what leads the Zohar Kadosh into the secret of the Toichacha. The Toichacha is what happens when a person finds themselves lost in Malchus. When there's a world of Malchus, when there's a world of Malchus that appears to be devoid of any connectivity, it appears to be a tefillah di'ani kiyatov and a miskana. So it's in that place that a person can look at the Toichacha, and they can look at the severity, and they can look at the Dina de Malchus Adina, and they can say that this is a negative sign, that this is a terrible thing, that this is a difficult thing. But it's only through the histaklus apnimius, it's only through going up from Malchus and uncovering the hidden light of Malchus that is lost and hidden away in Zer Anpin, that we have the ability of making a name for HaKadosh Baruch Hu and drawing down that light into the empty vessel of Malchus, which is how we're mamtik the Toichacha. And the Zohar Kadosh continues, and this is not part of the context, but it's in the context of everything that happened on Lag BaOmer. So we see something very powerful on the V'salachti b'seichachem v'ayisam lechem le'leihim. I'll walk amongst you, and I will be for you a king. I will be for you a God. Rav Yitzchak v'Rav Yehuda have a shchiche laila chad b'kfar karev liyamad Tiveria. Rav Yitzchak and Rav Yehuda have a shchiche leila chad b'kfar karev liyamad Tiveria. Tiveria is a place of Malchus. Tiveria is a place of the Kineres, of the Mayim, the Kineres that's doime liyam, the Tcheles that's doime to the Mayim, and the Mayim that's doime to the Rakia, and the Rakia that's doime to the Kisya Kavod. That secret of Tcheles, that secret of Dimyon de Kedusha, that secret of the associative nature of viewing things in connection that might not be apparent externally, that secret of Malchus, that place where Mashiach Tzidkenu comes from that place of Tahir Ir Tiveria, that place of Rav Menachem Mendel Vitebsker, that place of finding the room of the Vitebsker in our minds, of Malchus, of the blueness of Malchus, of the Mayim, Min Mayim Mishisihu, the watery depths of the mind of Moshe Rabbeinu, and the Mayim Liam Machasim, and the Meidas, and the Amachachma that's Naskala, specifically in that place of the Taninim Hagadoilim, in that place of Rav Himnuna Saba, in that place of Tahir Ir Tiveria. Tiveria is a Malchustika place, and it's also a concealed place. There's Shuke Tiveria there. There's concealment in that place. So Rav Yitzchak and Rav Yehuda found themselves in one night in a town close to the waters of Tiveria. Rav Yitzchak is Gevura. Rav Yitzchak is Gevura, it's the Tzimtzumim. Rav Yehuda is Malchus, the Tzimtzumim of Malchus. When a person finds themselves in the Tzimtzumim of Malchus, which is the process of the Toichacha, they found themselves in that place of Tiveria, and they got up at the midnight point, they broke open the darkness. Rav Yitzchak says to Rav Yehuda, Neima b'mile da araisa, open up your mouth and speak a word of Torah. Da afagav da anan be'eser da, that even though we're here, loy ba'inu le'isparshim ilana dechaya. It doesn't mean that we have to separate ourselves from the tree of life. Now, the Nitzutze Zohar, the Biurim, try and be masbir what this Nakuda of Afagav, the Onan, Be'eserda. Even though we're here, we should still say Torah. But in accordance with what we're saying, even though we're in that place of Tiveria, even though we're in that place of Malchus, even though we're in that place where it's not clear where the light of day is going to come from, even though we're in that place of Rav Yitzchak, Rav Yehuda, of Gevura within Malchus, of the concealment of Malchus, which is where we learn the secret of Vyas David Shem, the need to draw down the name of Mashiach into that place itself, into that place that is apparently empty, and it's our need to fulfill it. Even though we're there, even though we're in that low place in Tiveria, we shouldn't remove ourselves from the tree of life. The Zohars continue, and it brings us into the depths of the Toichacha. What happens when HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees the externality, or when we see the externality, or when we find ourselves lost and we find ourselves struggling, we find ourselves devoid of focus, devoid of content, devoid of attention, devoid of all things, stuck within that concealment. So here, the end of the Zohar on Parshas Bechukotai is the whispers, the love song that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sings to Klal Yisrael to remind us that everything is okay, even when it doesn't seem okay. And even this also, when you find yourself stuck away in the land of your enemies, the afgam zois, and even this, the afgam. Why afgam and why not just af? The af keda amart, af ani, even me. The gam l'rabos, the ikri zois, the loy shavkas loy na'amen. What a Kadosh Baruch Hu is showing us is that I'm coming to reveal that I'm never going to let go of you. I'm always going to be with you. I'm always going to be with you in those places of Malchus and those places of the Rav Yitzchak within the Rav Yehuda. When you're in the land of your enemies, when everything is together. I'm not going to disgust you. I'm not going to be disgusted by you. I'm not going to throw you away because I'm connected to you. I'm not going to end my covenant with you. Begin kach lahafer brisi tom. Amr Reb Chia says, Ana shemana mila chadasa. I have heard something new. Chia comes from the language of chayas. V'chayas the kedusha, of life, of drawing down chayas. Amr Reb Chia, Ana shamina mila chadasa. I've heard something new, a newness, a chayas the kedusha. The Amr Rebbe Lazar, in the name of Rebbe Lazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon. Lo ma'astem v'lega'altem l'chaloisam. I will not be disgusted by you. I will not throw you away, and I will not destroy you. Lo hakisem v'lo hargisem l'chaloisam mi ba'ilei. It should say that I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not going to destroy you, I'm not going to kill you, so that you shouldn't be destroyed. Ella loy ma'astem. What does it mean? Loy ma'astem v'lega'altem. What does it mean that I won't be disgusted by you? Man desane la'achra ma'ishu. Somebody who hates somebody who has a hatred, where the concealment is coming from a negative place, has an inability to be near that person. Here, I don't hate you, and I'm not disgusted by you. My time, why? What's the secret of finding the light of the shame that we can create within exile itself? My time, begin the chavivusa denavshe benaihu. Because there is a soul, a depth in the soul love connection that exists between us. And as a result of that love, that inner point of love that exists even at the bottom of Malchus itself, that light of Mashiach, that Ruach Elokim Merachepes al Pnei Hamayim, that hovers right above the chaos and the Tohu and the Vohu. Kuli Chavivin, everything is beautiful, Gabe, to me. Why does it do lashon of l'chaloisam to destroy them? It's written without a vav. And it's written without a vav because it's really the language of kala. It's really the language of a bride, of a wedding, of a desire, of a love and a connection. Begin astem v'lega'altem. Because of this, I'm not going to be disgusted by you and I'm not going to leave you. Begin the ihi richimusa denafshe richimusa dilegabe. Because in truth, the depth of love of my soul is over towards you. Lebarnash derachem asisa, like a mushal, an analogy, a metaphor to someone who loves their spouse. V'husdare Bechukotai, and their spouse is found in a place of pungent odors, of ugly smells. A shuk shel borsky, a harsh place. Iloi hasi teiman loy ayebe la'almen. If she wasn't there, if my beloved wasn't there, I wouldn't enter into that place for even a second. Even the hitayman, but because she's there, dami be'enoi keshuka deruchle dechol reichen de'alma tavin ishkachu teiman. But because she's there, it is in my eyes as if it's the shuk of the most beautiful scents and the most beautiful smells, and the ruach hapeinu Mashiach Hashem, the alma tavin, everything is found there. Oifachi, so too va'afkam zois bihiyoisam be'eretz oiveihem. So too, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Klal Yisrael that even when you find yourself in the land of your enemies, in that place of Malchus, in that place where the name of Mashiach is not revealed, in that place of the Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, in that town close to the waters of Tiberia, Di'u Shuka Deborski, in this place, in this Dir B'tachtoinim, in this Gehenim that Rabbi Nachman saw, in this Hastara Shabbatoicha Hastara, in this Shuka Deborski, Lema'astem, I will not be disgusted by you, V'lega'altem, V'amai why l'chaloisam, begin kalosam, because you're my kala, the honorachimunala, because I love you. There's a deep love that resides there. The dami alai kechol reichen tavin the alma begin hahu kala de begavayhu. and it appears to me as all of the pleasant smells of the universe because you're there. The secret of finding the name of Mashiach, the secret of uncovering the light of Mashiach, Vyasa David Shem, the secret of revealing the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu within the tzimtzum of the Toichacha, is uncovering that unbreakable, irreducible line of connection and connectivity, that Ahava, that Ava Rabba, that Achdus of Ava, that inherent connectivity to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to Nishmas Yisrael and Nishmas Yisrael to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the point that there's this mysterious relationship where it's as if Klal Yisrael themselves are creating the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like the king or the father that loves the child so much that they put the child on their shoulders, as if the child is on top of the father. Yisa Hashem panav elecha, as the Zidichav of the Sarah Zohar says, that Hashem lifts his eyes up to us, as if we're the ones who are creating the hashpah, even though HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that we know, and we know that he knows that the only hashpah comes from him. Nevertheless, HaKadosh Baruch Hu allows us to play with our wooden swords as if we're doing something. And in that secret of HaKadosh Baruch Hu descending down into that place of our Bechira, down into that place of each of us needing to uncover the name of Mashiach, the Yechudim of our own Shemos, and from there specifically to be Megala that for the sake of love, even the ugliest smells in the world are null and void. Al kol pshayim tachaseh ahava. Al kol pshayim tachaseh ahava. Love covers over all the blemishes. That deep love, that ahava, that achdus, that yechidus, the yechido yel yechidach, that mesiras nefesh, that nekuda evamuna that's mukabel from that which comes before us, and the hisnoitzes that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us the ability to taste that amuna, that light of Malchus. And in that way, we're zoichet to be like David, to be asked David Shem, to create a name not only for Mashiach, but for HaKadosh Baruch Hu as well. And to uncover the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even in those places of Tiberia, to be Megala Rabbi Shimon's light of Tahir Ir Tiberia, the light of the Vitebsker that says that even though Mashiach is not here yet, Mashiach is Avada here, because he's here in my mind. And in that way, to be zoichet to transform the toicha and the halal of that shuk shel Borsky into the shuk shel Roichlim, into that pleasant smell of Ruach HaPeinu Mashiach Hashem, Be'ezras Hashem.